Now to a story we've been following for you for months. The spike in energy bills this winter. Today, state and federal regulators got their chance to grill representatives from National Grid, trying to find out why bills skyrocketed more than 100%. Our Jennifer Lewke was at the hearing today, and she got to ask some tough questions of her own. Here's the real deal.
A review of the experience we had this winter.
We learned today that National Grid bought 60% of its supply in advance over the winter. The other 40% was purchased on the open market at prices that were hugely higher than predicted. On top of that, the utility had a hard time getting it here.
What we're seeing is a scarcity of pipeline capacity, and it's the lack of transmission pipeline capacity, gas pipeline capacity, that drove gas prices up, which then drove electric prices up. And that seems to be the focal point of what we want to look at.
Not all parts of the state had the issues we had here in the capital region, though. Why were National Grid customers impacted more than some other utilities? We heard in there today, NYSEG, RG&E, Central Hudson did a little bit better this year as far as not being so dramatic with their price increases. What was different about what they did versus what National Grid did?
Now, there's two things. Number one, we're in a higher zone as far as you know. The New York ISO has different zones in New York State, and that kind of determines some of the cost, because it costs more to get electricity into eastern New York than it does, say, western New York, where it's closer to some of the generators. So that's one thing. And the other thing was the ability to defer some of those costs.
An ability National Grid doesn't currently have, but today asked for approval for.
We can't change the cost because that's not really our part of it, but we can maybe try to defer those costs to try to even them out over a period of months, so customers see less of a spike from up and down like they saw this winter.
PSC has asked FERC to investigate the suppliers who sell to you. Do you believe that you were ripped off at all by those folks?
It's really hard to say. You know, we don't know. And as you can see here today, there are so many people that are involved in this type of thing. That's why it requires this kind of a day-long sort of a technical conference to really go through all of this.
Now, we can tell you the National Grid says it is still willing to work with customers who are behind on their bills or are having a hard time keeping up.